Hey everyone. So if you're going to be running ads and selling your books direct, it's so incredibly important to make sure that your creative is up to date and it's currently the best that it possibly can be in terms of whatever's trending right now to make sure you can sell as many books as you possibly can. So in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how you can find winning creatives, winning ad copy, break down everything, and how you can literally go and implement this today into what you're currently doing so you can start driving more and more sales. Now, we're not going to waste any time, so we're going to jump right into the Facebook ads library and we're going to actually break down ad examples that we know are working because we're actually running these ads on the back end. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So now that we're in here in the actual Facebook ads library, it's super easy to come over to the Facebook ads library. All you have to do is head over to your browser and just type in Facebook ads library and Meta ads library, and it'll pop right up. And then you can go ahead and search up in the United States or in any other location, choose all ads, and then go ahead and choose an actual author that's either running the exact same ads as you in terms of your genre or something similar. Once you're in there, what you want to go ahead and do is really just start to take a look at their ads. Now, obviously, so much testing goes into finding what ads actually work. Good thing for us, we're actually running these ads on the back end, so we know exactly what works. And I'm going to give you the exact structures of ads that work the best to give you the best chance of success when you first start out. Now, jumping into this, the very first ad style that we're going to get into, which is absolutely the most simple to put together in terms of the creative, is going to be the book cover image. So it's a very, very simple ad. It literally just puts exactly what your book cover is. Now, this ad can work well in terms of scaling and finding a new audience. And sometimes this ad works best in retargeting. You really just have to put it out into your campaign and see what happens. But it's always great to start with an ad like this. We're going to get into ad copy in a few more steps, but it's always great to start out with a creative just like this, just taking your exact book cover. And this can be one of the image ads that you start out with. Now, make sure that whenever you're looking in the ad library, we are looking to take inspiration from. We're not looking to steal. We're just looking to see what's working the best, see this style and how you can implement it into your own ads as well. It's always great for everyone to essentially work together to figure out what best structure works because there's plenty of readers out there for everyone. Now, getting into the next style of ad is going to be the stock image. So you can see here, I'm going to zoom in. This is a completely stock image that we've actually found here. And what we can actually take from this image and what you want to go ahead and do is you want to make sure that it has two things. The first is going to be that it actually stops the scroll of your ideal reader. So with her books, she has billionaire romance. And so she's going to have an attractive guy on the image here. And he's a bigger guy because also in the text says massive. So that way that it's essentially relating with what the person is going to be reading in the ad copy here. So you want to make sure that it's going to resonate to the characters in your book and make sure that whenever they see this image and start reading the text, that it resonates in that way as well. Now, the third style of creative is going to be the video creative. So you can see here that we have the text on the video. We also have a book cover on the bottom of the video. We've seen this work. We've seen videos work with the book cover on the bottom and without. It's really just personal preference. Sometimes it drives more sales. It really depends on your offer. And so you can go ahead and drop that on there. And you can go ahead and see that we have the text on the video that's telling a story. As we're going through this video, you can see, let's watch this. You can see that stock video in there. So it's telling that story. It's going through the story. And then we have the actual bundle. So whatever, if we click on here, shop now, it's that same product. So the reader already has that idea in the back of their mind of what they're going to be getting once they click. And we're going to be getting into conversion rate in a few more videos to really break down the actual site on how to get it to convert the absolute best for you. But those are the three creative styles that are working great right now. And all of those really do, as they are creatives are really there to capture attention. So there's a lot of different styles of creatives that work, but the main thing that is going to optimize your ads is going to be the ad copy. The ad copy is by far the most important piece of your ad because that is what is going to grab the right readers in terms of what readers actually want to read from you. So as we can see here, a rule of thumb that we always want to stick with is making sure that our trope either or the universal fantasies that we're pulling out of your books are within that very first line. So you can see here, brother's best friend. This will grab people that are interested in brother's best friend. And then as each line goes down, you can see here that each line starts out with a hook. We have some middle dialogue here that starts to build the tension of what's going on. And then we end each line with a cliffhanger. It's so incredibly important. You can see here again, every single time, hook, something a part of the scene that's happening, and then ending out with that physical tension of that hook. Again, every single line, and then ending it completely with a great cliffhanger that leaves them on their seat, and they have to go ahead and click shop now to learn more. Now you can see here, this is another very, very important part at the bottom. This is what we call the offer. So our offer there's a few different ways you can structure this. You could check out some other authors that are doing this in the ads library. For this one, we have Find Out What Happens Next in Forbidden Lust. So that's the actual book. And then we give them the offer of what they're going to expect before they even click. That way they're already pre-sold, as if they do click, they already know what they're getting, so they're much more likely to purchase at that point. And then you can see tap the link, so it's a very slight call to action as well. Click on shop now. It brings them to exactly what they were expecting because they were already pre-sold. Now, jumping back to our other ad copy, we're going to break some of these down as well. And we'll just go ahead and take a look at this ad copy here. So you can see here, again, with the guy on the actual image, that's what's going to capture attention. And then the very, very first line, when you're on your first date with your massive billionaire friend, so billionaire romance, immediately within the very first line, Cogs Union wins. Cliffhanger. What's going on? They have to click to find out what's happening next. And then you can see there's some of that physical tension being built up in there. And then as we continue on with the ad copy, it leaves them on that great cliffhanger where it still just makes the reader want to know what is happening next. And as they click, and then they land on this page here. And as you can see here, we even have a small blurb that gives them a little bit more information on the story so they can actually break down what's going on in the story and if they're interested. And this site has a great conversion rate because it simply explains the story and walks them through the process as well of purchasing. Now, the third ad copy that we're going to go ahead and take a look at is actually going to be this one right here. So we're going to take a look and see why this ad copy is performing. So when you start out your ad copy, the more general in terms of you can speak to really anyone that would be reading this. So say out of 100 people that are going to be reading this, we are targeting women in this ad. And say if you were going to take out of 100 women that we were targeting, and out of those 100, I would guarantee that practically almost every single one of them went to high school. Pretty much everyone went to high school. So that beginning essentially will resonate with the maximum amount of people because it's a very, very common thing that happens. Another very subtle thing that's happening here as well is that it's saying in high school. So it's like you're speaking to something in the past. So it really pulls out that story element of something that already happened. When something has already happened, that turns it into a story, like it's already happened. And so people really like to be engaged with that, especially within ad copy, because we're capturing their attention in the shortest amount of time possible. Now you can see jumping into the next line, pulling out that universal fantasy. So a poor girl fell for the rich boy, but then his dad told him to leave me or lose his inheritance. So it's building up that tension. It's a negative emotion. It's got that tension within there, and then ending with the amazing cliffhanger. So he walked away after graduation. You have to click after seeing this. This really pulls people into the story. You want to make sure that you don't just give say like a 5-word line, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened. Because that's gonna steal attention. We want to pull attention into where they need to read the next line because it's so amazing. You can see here, we're jumping in. A year later, got engaged, thought he might come back, tell me he made a mistake, but he never came, so I moved on. More negative emotion building into the story. This is also a time frame too, so it's a whole year later. That's building that close connection with the reader, with the actual character as well, because it's an entire year later. They're getting an actual glimpse into this person's life. And then 6 years later, another massive time jump as well. So a lot more time has been built in. Christmas time, now a single mom, more negative emotion, only a few $100s in my bank account, 3 tiny presents for my daughter under the tree, negative emotion. One night, I'm getting into my car. And then again, one night. So it's that time frame, something that already happened. That means that this already happened. So it's almost like a drama aspect. It's pulling them in. Getting in my car, scratched is very expensive car next to me, deep familiar voice, turns around, I turn, see the man left me 7 years ago with keys in his hand. So you see all that time frame here builds back to 7 years ago with keys in his hand. It's very, very well thought out copy. It takes a very long time to build out, but it's so important that once you can get this right and once you can resonate it with your books and pull out those tropes, the universal fantasies that, and really make this copy resonate with as many people as possible, it's going to be able to scale much further. You're going to be able to put a lot more money behind this ad and make a lot more money out as well. So some points of looking over your ad copy, what you want to go ahead and do is start out with at least 3 to 4 blocks of ad copy. You can see here these paragraphs here. Typically, we say about 150 to 250 words just to start. And then you'll go ahead and start getting your base of your ad copy built out and starting to figure out what's going to work best for you. Make sure that you're really pulling in that trope or those universal fantasies within that very first line to really hook the reader in there. They're going to be much more engaged as they're going through your ad copy, and make sure it resonates with the most amount of people that can be reading this as well. Also, make sure that you have a great cliffhanger at the very end and you don't leave them on something like, you'll never believe what happened next. No, you want to actually give them the positive even parts of the story to really leave them on that cliffhanger. They likely know that these people fall in love, but they want to see how they fall in love. So that's the really important part of pulling them into this story. And then as well, of course, after every single piece of ad copy, so you can see every time our ad copy ends here, we always give the offer at the end. So you can structure this however you would like, but I would always recommend to make sure that you tell what book it is, make sure to give them a great review because reviews will always build your authority, and then tell them exactly what they're going to be getting after they purchase. Makes the experience so much more simple for the customer, and you're going to get a lot more readers this way as well. So I know that was a very long deep dive into ad copy and into the actual creative styles, just some simple creative styles. In future videos, we're going to be getting into a lot more creative styles and also diving into a lot more ad copy as well, really breaking everything down. We really break down a lot of ad copy in the one-on-one mentorship and in the program. So if you'd like to jump into those are going to be down below. There's also a free course if you'd like to go through and actually start to build out your ads, build out your very first campaign to start running direct sales ads. And make sure to go ahead and subscribe and turn on your notifications as well, so you get notified for all the future videos. And I'll go ahead and see you in the next one. Take care, everyone.